All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Yeshemai from the GMS Atlanta camp. Before I get into this message, all praises, all glory, all honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, and double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, whom will and teach well. Came across this, I guess you can call it comical. You have a fat Edomite dancing, and so what are we to believe from this message, or Shalakia? What are we to believe that these Edomites think from this short clip here? These Edomites think that the Amalekites that are being shown for who they are, these Edomites think that they got next. Now let's get a couple of scriptures here. Where we at? Right here. Let's get I will make Esau bare. We got to get that one. Because that's exactly what's happening right now. It's as we see, this war going on, there's really no excuse for the indiscriminate bombings that these small hats are doing. Because look at what they did to Iran when they executed their top nuclear scientist. What did they do? They sent a bomb and they targeted that man by shooting a missile to his building, and the building didn't come apart. All right? Like, the building was still standing. And so I say that to say this. If these people have the best intelligence, right? Because that's exactly what these sellouts say, what these Egyptians, these Americans say, that Israel is the greatest ally because they have the best intelligence. Okay, so if they have the best intelligence, and they're able to shoot a missile into a building and not harm anybody else, why couldn't they do that with Gaza? Well, it's because they could have done that, but they didn't. And everybody's starting to wake up to that fact. Everybody's starting to wake up to the fact that these people are literally the devil. They are the ones that have caused every war, for the past couple decades. And America has been the one that has been doing their bidding, and people are starting to wake up to that. All right, so this is Jeremiah 49:10. It says, "But I have made Esau bare," and that's exactly what he's done. He's made Esau bare by having Esau, which we know that these small hats are an offshoot of Esau Edom, right? Yeah, because Amalek is a duke that traces his lineage back to Esau Edom, according to Exodus 36. And so this man is being made bare. There's no excuse as to why he's doing what he's doing. Take today for example. We had a ceasefire, or the Americans had a ceasefire. I don't want to say we, because Scripture says to come out of Babylon, right? So we're not part of this, but America had a ceasefire, and they these small hats launched a barrage of missiles, the likes of that Trump has never seen, he said. And so people are starting to wake up and be like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Don't they want peace? And the answer is no. They don't want peace, because Scripture says he is as death, he cannot be satisfied. He won't be satisfied until he chips you, until he sits in the temple of the Most High, according to 2 Thessalonians 2. And we know that the temple is our body, all right, according to 1 Corinthians 3:16. All right, so no, this guy won't ever be satisfied. But let's continue on. It says, "I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself." And what are those secret places? Well, those secret places go into his history. Now you can get on Twitter and see that the banking family started in I guess you can call it the Middle East, in Germany. What was the name of it? Where they started off calling themselves the Red Shields. And then they changed their names to the Rothschild. Well, who is they? They are the small hats, man. And so that's how he's being made bare. His hidden places are being exposed, because now we can see the history of who these people are, man. All right? What does Scripture say? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that. Salakia. I don't want to stop in the middle of this precept, but it says, "He that diggeth a pit shall fall therein." KJV, Fat Fingers, Salakia, Proverbs 26:27. And please bear with me with this internet. It says, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. And, that's exactly what has happened, not only with the nuclear missiles, because ultimately, the Temanites helped them to develop them, the missiles, and ultimately that's going to be their destruction. But at the same time, let's not forget the three unclean spirits. The city of London goes into the financial sector, to which they have controlled the globe. All right, and so I bring this scripture up to say this: the same banking families that have used the banks to control this world, that same power is not going back to them. All right, because now people are being able to link up who these people are and who did that. All right, so let's go back to Jeremiah 49:10. It says, his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So his seed is spoiled goes into the fact that these people are ultimately going to be destroyed, man. And then furthermore to his brethren, because his brethren, let's not forget it, Amalek, it comes from the seed line of Esau Edom. Now, who is Esau Edom? Esau Edom, according to Genesis 27, around the 39th verse, says that he was blessed with the sword. And who is blessed with the sword right now? It's America. Who was on video, saying that America has the most advanced weaponry in the world? That was Trump. All right, he was basically showing you, hey, not him knowing, all right, because Proverbs 21 verse 1 says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. He turneth it whithersoever he wants, right? So even though Trump may not have been knowing that he was exposing himself, man, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai was showing you through the king of Babylon that these people are the Edomites, man. Because, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and get that, I'll be paraphrasing stuff, man. And Salakia, man, I know a lot of brothers are familiar with these precepts, but it's always good to bring them up. So this is Genesis 27. Let's get straight to the point. Verse 40 says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right, now who has been living by the sword? All right, let me ask you a question. Has America been living because everybody loves them? No. How has America been continuing this hegemony, however the hell you say that word? How have they continued to advance their hegemony? Do you think that it's because everybody just likes America, because they can carry on a good conversation? No, man. That's not why. They have been living by the sword. Ever since they dropped that bomb, which, the book of Revelation, let's go ahead and get that while we're there. He maketh fire come down from heaven. Fire down heaven. Fat finger, Salakia. It's the water for waiting for me. Revelation 13, verse 13. And he does great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that goes into the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, man. So America has been ruling the world by the sword. And that's how you can link up who he is, man. So, Salakia for straying, man. But I just want to go back, I want to go back here because these people, these Americans think that, the small hats are finally being exposed. Now we can continue to rule. No, that's not how it works, man. All right, because look, picture Amalek being the driver of a car that does a drive-by shooting, because that's exactly what they've done. They've done drive-by shootings on the entire globe. All right, whether it's through poisoning the food, whether it's poisoning the air, the waters, the TV, poisoning the woman that then, puts her man through hell, or whether it's been, through overthrown governments, right? Through many coup d'etats, right? I'm not anyways, but the point is that these Edomites, these Americans, man, these Egyptians, these Babylonians, they think that when these small hats break off, they think that they're going to continue to rule. But wait a minute, you were in that car pulling the trigger. You cannot escape that. See, that's something that these Americans can't understand. These Americans can't understand this is what they understand. They understand that these Amalekites, these small hats, or the devil, but they stop it right there. They stop it right there, and they can't come to terms and acknowledge that even though they have been the mastermind, the small hats have been the mastermind, America has been the trigger man. So when you have two people, one person driving and then the other person shooting from a car doing a drive-by, both of them are just as guilty, man. And so America is guilty. So just like these small hats have to be judged, and these Babylonians, these Americans, they can acknowledge that, you also have to be judged as well, man. All right? Because ultimately, what's their thought? I think I had it pulled up here, Salakia. Well, I didn't have it pulled up, but let's go ahead and get Ezekiel 35. And the water for bearing with me, Akim. I typically like to have these things ready. This is Ezekiel 35, verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel. Now, who are the children of Israel? So-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics. And who has had that perpetual hatred? These Edomites, these Babylonians, these Americans. You know, they can't stand to see a so-called black, native, or Hispanic call themselves an Israelite. They can't stand to do that. They want to keep us down. And that goes back to the hatred. And you know what? Let's go ahead and go back into Genesis, because it shows you, you know, what do these people do? You know, how many memes are there on Twitter where they have these things that say Africa is still living in tents and eating shit and got, of course, we know that the so-called Africans are not Israelites, but in their mind, they think that the blacks, are the same as the Hamites. But, we see these memes on Twitter where they belittle us and say, oh, they can't go forward, they can't prosper. Look at Americans. That's hatred, man, because what they're doing is they're telling you that dark-skinned people can't advance, and that these Edomites are basically, God's gift to the world, man. And that goes back to that hatred, man. This is Genesis 25 and 23. It says, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. See, we need to bring that to mind too, man. Jacob and Esau were not just 2 people. These were 2 nations. And the same hatred that Esau has for his brother, that same hatred goes back to the Edomites of today, man. All right? And 2 manner of people shall be separated from the bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elders shall serve the younger, man. So let's not forget that, man. All right? Let's get Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So there goes that eternal hatred that Esau has had, man. All right? And it shows you who these people are through what they tell you, man. See, they think that the Israelites, so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics, are going to continue to be under their thumb. They're going to continue to poison the air, and then they got next. In their mind, they think Russia has to get taken out, or just Ukraine has to be left alone. The small hats are going to fall, and then we come back up because we're a Judeo-Christian country, right? I mean, I'm just, this is how these people think, man. And they think that their houses are going to continue forever, man. All right, so going back to Ezekiel 35 and verse 5, it says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, and have they not? Have they not shed the blood of the so-called Native Americans, right? By slaughtering all the buffalo. These people made the buffalo become an endangered species because they wanted to starve us out, which you can link them back up to the Romans, because that's exactly what they did in 70 AD. They surrounded the city, they cut off the water, they cut off the food, so that, cannibalism would happen, man. And that's exactly what they did, to the detriment of the entire globe, man. Salakia. Children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. And what was the time of our calamity? Right? That 3.5 years of not knowing who we were, man. See, they forwarded the affliction, man, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So now we got the spirit, according to Revelations 11, according to Ezekiel 37, according to Baruch 2 and 30, right? And now they're still trying to take us out, man. So look, man, I'm ended up with this precept right here. It says, I know it's in Psalms, they think their houses will continue forever. My memory's not the best, so Salakia and Tawada for bearing with me. This is Psalms 49, verse 11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And that's what this video goes, man. These Edomites, these Europeans, think that they got next, think that they're going to continue to poison the air. They're going to continue to name Ponce de Leon. They're going to continue to name Martin Luther King, that they're going to continue to build these monuments, right? But that's not prophecy, man. Let's get Daniel, and I believe it's either Daniel 2 or Daniel 7. Salakia said first. It's Daniel 7. I'm tripping. It says, I beheld because of fire stream. I beheld. Okay, right here it says, I considered the horns. I beheld, and after that I saw night visions, exceeding stamped the residue. I considered the horns plucked up. Salakia, the water for bearing with me. I beheld. I saw the night visions, and there was given. Okay, right here, verse 14. It says, and there was given him. This is Daniel 7, verse 14. It says, and there was given him dominion and glory in the kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, talking about Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which shall not pass away, in his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Okay, and so, I bring that precept up, and this is what I'm going to close with, is because, when Daniel saw the vision, when Daniel broke down the vision that Nebuchadnezzar had, it was a certain amount of kingdoms. It was the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, and then the Romans, and then again the revised Roman Empire, right? Going into the iron mixed with clay, right? Going into Revelation 20, right? That he was loose for a season again, right? So these people think that once these small hats fall down, these people think that they got next. But hey, it didn't go into that, man. See, these Amalekites and these Babylonians, so-called Americans, so-called white people, hey, man, when your kingdom ends, Yahushua comes. All right? There is no split, man. There is no Israel falls and then you got next. That's not how it goes. Your whole system falls, and then Yahushua comes down, man. So, no, your houses will not continue forever. So water for the patience. Salaki, if I was long-winded. Until the next one, shalom.